Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're talking about something really important for anyone who cycles in Scotland. Cycling is absolutely booming, which is fantastic, but it also means we need to know what happens if things go wrong. So, if you're in an accident, what are your rights? Let's break it all down. The law, what you're entitled to, and the steps you need to take.
And it's just great to see, isn't it? More and more people are getting on their bikes, whether it's for the daily commute or just getting out into that incredible Scottish scenery. But with this amazing growth comes a really serious side we have to address. What are the risks? And crucially, what are your rights on the road?
I mean, this slide just says it all, doesn't it? Look at the difference. On one side, you've got a car, that's 2 tons of steel, airbags, safety cages, and on the other side, you've got a high-vis jacket and a helmet. Your body is the crumple zone. It's not a fair fight, and this huge imbalance is exactly what the law has to grapple with.
So that's the big question, right? When these two things meet, where does the law stand? Well, let's dive in and see exactly how Scottish law tries to step in and level that very uneven playing field.
Okay, so this is the absolute core of it. The law isn't just a set of abstract rules. It actually recognizes the reality of the road. It understands that a cyclist is, by definition, a vulnerable road user, and that single fact is the foundation for all the legal protections that follow.
It all comes down to this concept, duty of care. And honestly, this is a real game changer. What it means is simple. The person who can cause the most harm, and that's the motorist, has the biggest responsibility to be careful. It's the law's way of directly addressing that power imbalance we just saw.
All right, so how does this duty of care idea actually work in practice, on the road? Well, that's where the highway code comes into play. You can think of it as the official rulebook for road safety, and it's full of specific rules designed to protect cyclists.
Now, this is a really crucial point. Breaking a rule in the highway code isn't necessarily a criminal offense, but in a civil claim for compensation, it's a massive red flag for the court. It's treated as really strong evidence that the driver failed in their duty of care, and that can be the absolute key to winning your case.
1.5 meters. Remember that number. It's so simple, but it is quite literally a lifesaver. This isn't just a polite suggestion or a guideline. It's a clear, defined minimum distance, and it makes all the difference in the world.
And the great news is that the law is evolving. The 2022 updates to the Highway Code were a huge step forward. They introduced this hierarchy of road users, which officially puts the greatest responsibility on those who can do the most harm. It's a really clear signal that the system is moving to prioritize cyclist safety.
Okay, so we've covered the principles. But what does this all look like in the real world? Let's take a look at a couple of the most common types of crashes and figure out who is actually at fault.
This one. We've all seen it, right? Maybe even had that heart-in-your-mouth moment when a car just pulls straight out in front of you at a junction. This isn't just common. It is the single most frequent cause of serious injury to cyclists in Scotland. It's that classic, sorry mate, I didn't see you. But here's the thing. Not seeing a cyclist isn't an excuse. It's a fundamental failure of that driver's duty of care. The law is incredibly clear on this. You had priority, period.
So, in these kinds of situations, the law is squarely on your side. Liability is usually crystal clear. In fact, insurance companies often admit fault pretty quickly because there's just not much to argue about. It's one of the most straightforward claims you can make.
The dooring. It is every city cyclist's absolute nightmare. One second, you're pedaling along a line of parked cars, and the next, a door swings open and you're on the tarmac. It's sudden, it's dangerous, and it is completely preventable.
And this is precisely why the Dutch reach is now officially recommended in the Highway Code. It's such a simple habit. Opening the door with your far hand forces you to look over your shoulder. It's an elegant solution to a really dangerous problem. We should all be spreading the word on this one.
Let's be absolutely clear on this. The responsibility, 100%, falls on the person who opened the door. It is their legal duty to check and make sure it's safe before they open it. If they don't, they are liable for whatever happens next. No ifs, ands, or buts.
So let's say it's happened, and the other person is clearly at fault. What does building a claim actually look like? And more importantly, what can you claim for?
Okay, you can bet that the other side's insurance company will try to argue that you were partly to blame. The two big arguments they love to use are helmets and lights. But here's the deal. In Scotland, there is no legal requirement to wear a helmet. As for lights, well, if it was dark and you didn't have any on, that could potentially reduce your claim.
The takeaway? Be visible, but don't let anyone try and bully you on the helmet issue. Now, listen up, because this is a huge deal and most people have no idea. New rules came in that dramatically cut compensation for whiplash-type injuries for people inside a car. But here's the kicker. As a cyclist, you're not considered a vehicle occupant. That means you're exempt from those low fixed payments. It is a massive advantage and could literally mean a difference of thousands of pounds in compensation.
Compensation isn't just a single payment for your injury. The goal is to make you whole again. So yes, it covers the pain and suffering, that's what solatium is, but it also covers all your financial losses. We're talking lost wages, medical bills, and of course, the cost of repairing or replacing your beloved bike and all your gear.
Look, knowing your rights is one thing, and it's incredibly powerful. But knowing the practical steps to take in those first chaotic, stressful moments after a crash, that's what really puts you back in control.
Okay, think of this as your essential post-crash checklist. Maybe even take a photo of this screen. First, your safety is paramount. If you're seriously hurt, call 999. Then, get the driver's details and report it to the police. Next, document everything. Photos of the scene, the car, your bike, and get contact info for any witnesses. Always get checked out by a doctor, even for what feels like a minor knock. And finally, and this is important, don't repair your bike, it's evidence. Then get in touch with a specialist solicitor as soon as you can.
So the main thing to take away from all of this is that the law is actually on your side. It's designed to recognize how vulnerable you are on a bike and to give you the power to hold drivers accountable. These rights are real, they are strong, and they are absolutely worth pursuing. So ride safe, but always, always know your rights.